Rely on one income stream, especially in today's economy, is a dangerous game. If you're not house hacking, you're leaving money on the table every single month. Now, house hacking is one of the most powerful low barrier strategies in real estate investing, and it's often overlooked because it forces people to get a little uncomfortable. If you skip this strategy, though, you might end up working twice as long to build the same wealth. Meanwhile, someone living rent-free in their own duplex is stacking equity, learning landlording, and accelerating their portfolio, all while living in their first property. So let me tell you about one of the first times I truly understood the power of house hacking. Back when I was trying to scale my portfolio, I met a young investor, early 20s, entry-level job, no big salary, no financial help from family. He found a dated triplex in a decent area, qualified with 5% down insured mortgage, and moved into one of the units. The other two rented them out. He lived almost mortgage-free, learned to manage tenants, and within 2 years, he refinanced, pulled equity out, and bought his second property. And that's the compound effect in real estate. And it all started out with one smart move, the house hack. So what is a house hack, really? At its core, house hacking is about using your primary residence to generate rental income. You can rent out a basement suite, you can live in one half of a duplex, you can convert your garage into a laneway suite, you can buy a triplex or fourplex, live in one unit, rent out the others, and even rent out bedrooms or do short-term rentals if your area allows it. The idea, your tenants help pay the mortgage, and in the best cases, they cover the whole thing. Now, why is this ideal for a first move for beginners? Well, you're new. You don't have 20% down. You're scared of risk. House hacking is perfect because low down payments, and you only need 5 or 10% down for owner-occupied properties in Canada. Better mortgage rates. Primary residences often qualify for better interest rates than investment properties. Built-in property management training, that's my favorite. You'll learn the ropes. Screening tenants, handling maintenance, managing conflict, all with training wheels on. This is like real estate investing with uppers at the bowling alley. It's safer, more affordable, but still profitable. Sorry for the dad joke there. Financial structures. Okay, this works for house hacking. So in Canada, CMHC, that's the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, allows for insured mortgages with as little as 5% down if you're living in the property. That's huge. If you're just starting out, if you're buying a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, CMHC insured mortgages, say that 5 times fast. CMHC insured mortgages, you can do up to a 95% LTV, loan to value ratio. You also have rental income from the other units that can be used to qualify, meaning it improves your income so that you can qualify for this debt servicing. Now, you can use other strategies like gifted down payments, RRSP home buyers plan, or even vendor takebacks if you're short on capital. Now, here's a pro tip. Work with a mortgage broker who understands income suites and multi-unit lending. A regular bank advisor might miss these creative angles. So speaking of creativity, how could you be creative with house hacking? Now here's some examples you might not have considered. Now let's go beyond the classic duplex. Split level bungalows. A lot of these older homes, even here in Canada, are perfect for legal basement suites with separate entrances. Now you could have garage suites or ADUs, which are called accessory dwelling units. So cities like Edmonton and Vancouver in Canada, again, are approving more of these. If you're in the US, just check your regulations. I think with the shortages in housing, I think municipalities, states, cities, provinces are moving more towards incentives in these areas. Student housing. Maybe you can buy a house near a college, rent out each room individually. It's more management, but much higher cash flow. Now, you can live in, flip, and hack. So think about this. Buy a property, renovate the basement suite while living upstairs, and then rent it out or refinance. It's perfect. Everything has a downside though, so that's what I need to tell you about now. You need to prepare for it. So let's be real. It's not all upside. You live next to your tenants or in the same house as the tenants. Conflict resolution skills, crucial. Okay, your privacy can be limited, especially in a shared space. And regulations matter. Not every city allows secondary suites or re-rentals. And then not only property management, emotional management. Imagine evicting a tenant and then awkwardly seeing them at your mailbox, or maybe they're even in your own house. So the key is to screen like a pro, set expectations in writing, and keep your landlord hat on even when you share a wall. I mean, you're a friendly person, it's human nature. You might even be sharing a meal with some of these tenants, but they are tenants, it is a business. So put up those barriers so it's easier later if you have the inevitable eviction. Now, how can house hacking set up the BRRRR method? Well, once you live in the property for a year, which is typical for minimum owner-occupied financing, you've got some options. You could refinance and pull out equity. You could move out, rent out your own unit, and then repeat. Now you have a rental property, and now you can move on to your next property. You can keep it in your portfolio, and then move into the second house, again, as a house hack. This is how many investors snowball their portfolios. House hack, refi, repeat. Let's give you a real world example. Let's break down some numbers. Let's say, at least here in Manitoba, purchase price, let's say you can buy a duplex for $400,000. You put a down payment of 5%, it's 20 grand. Your mortgage payment, depending on when you watch this video, let's say taxes and insurance might be $2,200. You can rent out your lower unit for $1,400, and your cost to live upstairs is only $800 a month. Or, depending if you're single or not, you can live in a lower unit, rent out the upstairs for more money, and not have any cost at all. In 1 to 2 years, that property appreciates to $460,000, $460,000. You refinance, pull out $40,000 of equity, and use that as a down payment on your next one. And this is how you get to 2 properties in 24 months without raising outside capital. So, what should you know or do before you house hack? If this is starting to sound appealing, here's what to do next. Step 1, check your zoning regulations. Can you legally add a suite? You do not, believe me, you do not want to be adding a suite illegally, taking that rent in, and then it gets shut down. Maybe somebody gets hurt or dies because you haven't checked proper fire egress, smoke barriers, anything else like that, and then you can't even sell it later. Okay, you don't want to be doing that. So check your zoning regulations. Number 2, speak to a mortgage broker, run scenarios with and without rental income. Number 3, get a good realtor, one who understands investment properties, not just granite countertops. Step 4, talk to a property manager who will tell you what's rentable, what it'll fetch, and what to avoid. Make sure you're using realistic numbers. Step 5, join a local REI or real estate investment meetup or online community and learn from others who have done it. All right, so house hacking isn't just a strategy, it's a mindset. It's about using your existing lifestyle to find your investment journey instead of waiting until you have the perfect scenario. It gives you skills, it gives you cash flow, but more importantly, it gives you confidence, all wrapped up into your first property. So if this episode got you thinking about house hacking as your entry point into real estate, here's your next step. Join our email list through the link in the show notes. Send you our most popular free download, your 7-step guide to buying your first rental, and you'll get first access when we release new walkthroughs, live trainings, and case studies for beginner investors just like you. We also have in there a Get Rent Ready in 3 Days kit for those that already have a rental property. You don't have to do this alone. We're here to help you unlock that first door.